What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Echocalypse video. Alright guys, tier list update, and we're going to be doing it a little bit different this time around. Before I do anything though, I want to give a big shout out to Kingu as well as Eden, the folks who have helped me out put this tier list together. We're going to be doing two of them. That's right, two peace signs, four. So we're going to be doing two tier lists. We're going to be doing one free-to-play section only. So this is going to be the free-to-play one here. It's going to only cover couple of criteria. Number one, 0 stars to 4 stars. Because as a free-to-play player, the max you should ever go is 4 stars, unless this is a long-term investment that you plan to push to 7. But that's going to be all your resources on one character. We're going to say only up to 4 stars max. And that is possible because I, as a free-to-play player, I have an Aiken at 4 stars and a Fenruru at 4 stars. So it is possible with a little bit of luck. So 0 to 4, and this is going to cover all the characters up to date. I'm going to tell you guys about some switches we're going to make here and there and some changes I've made already along the way. And then the second half of the video is going to be for the spenders. The spenders are going to be 5 stars to 7 stars. So if you fall in line with the 0 to 4, watch this part. If you fall in line for the 5 to 7, you can watch the next part as well too. It will be vastly different because the changes to characters are huge when you're a spender versus a free-to-play player. So first off, let's go through the list. So Double S currently sitting out on Aiken, Nephthys, Audrey, and Levia. I moved Levia up from S to SS, just so you guys are aware, because she gives you a lot more opportunities to build raids, just like Audrey does. But the difference is she gives the opposite column that she's in the rage opportunities. You can go front or back. With Audrey, it's just the back units that get it. Audrey gives you regen. Levia gives you more DPS. So you have a couple options here to choose from between the two rage givers. But for free to play, they're both equally as good as one another, in my opinion. And at the same time, Nephthys is the best healer, in my opinion, here, because her passive also through the organizational chart, if you have all the links, provides you an attack buff to your top unit, and it's actually pretty invaluable. Not to mention she's got heal on her basic attack as well as her special attack. And then of course Aiken still remains the best DPS in the game for free-to-play players, especially when you get to the 3 and 4 star level when she recasts her ultimate the second time, not doing the base damage but at least doing the true damage as well as the extra little bit of damage she tosses in here and there. Now this is also based off of PvP, PvE, and bosses. Okay, so 3 different criteria here to note. Niz was almost SS for me. The reason why I left her in S is she's incredibly powerful for PvE and PvP with her freeze. The unfortunate part is for bosses, they're all immune to it, so she stays at S. Same with Zawa right now. Because for free to play, realistically at the end of the day, you're going to be using her to do blind. You won't be really using her option to do buff stealing yet. Unless you have her weapon, which is still a low percentage, but her 7-star steals buffs, she would be definitely top tier. Right now she stays in S. Fenruru is still one of the best free-to-play units at the moment for DPS. She's going to remain where she is. Kiki, I dropped down a slot to S because she's now starting to be outmatched and out DPS even by the newer characters, and that's going to further happen more and more, right? So we're going to put her in S at the moment. Vivi, because it was a altogether tier list, I've dropped down to A just so you guys are aware. She's going to sit there. Dina, also a really good healer. Not as good as Nephthys, unfortunately, so she does need to sit down there. MC, still really, really good unit. Highly recommend using the MC, especially if you are getting the stars up for more stats, plus of course the ability to stun more often, and then of course Beam is actually a really good unit for bosses, and actually not a bad PvE unit, but sucks in my opinion on PvP. Good armor increase, resistance increase, and damage scales off of that, plus does really high damage, but again, not the greatest DPS out there, but still not bad and deserves a spot in the A list. Now we're going to put Winu up to A as well too. If you are running a burn team, which I don't personally recommend doing, she is still one of the better burn units though, so you can put her there. And then I put Star up here as well too because she gives the crit up, she does attack up as well too, and has true damage. So for support, she's not bad if you are looking to increase your DPS for that slot. Now I'm going to leave in B. She does have revive if you can get her up further up in the star level. She does have the option to burn, so I would still keep her there. Tauret we're going to keep in B. Pan, honestly, if it wasn't for the control immunity, the shield is useless at the moment until you're a whale. I was going to put her down here, but we'll leave her in B for now as well too. Wadjet, honestly, good for PvE, decent for PvP, low percentage to do the mummify. So we're going to leave her in C. Regina and Garula, we're going to leave in C as well. Baphomet, same with here. Yulia, probably I'm going to put B. The reason why I'm going to put Yulia in B, only reason is the taunt. The taunt is such a... if you put her in the right slot and she can taunt an AoE unit, you're only going to get single attack. So for that reason, she's very niche, but at least she'll give you a little bit more options with that. And with that being said, we could, of course, put Shiyu up in B, but she doesn't have a taunt. So we're going to leave, or sorry, in A, but I'm going to leave her in B for that. Nightingale, I messed up last time. I apologize, guys. I don't know why I said heal. She does silencing, low percentage, but still not a bad CC if you can land it. And the rest of them here are going to stay the same. I did make a special category for Rayon because as a free-to-play player, you cannot get her at the moment. But if you can, she'll move up the slot. But for now, we're going to put her in normal special little category, okay? Now, for the next two units that have come out, Gryph and Chiraha. Let's do Gryph first because she was first. You're going to get an S, a high S as well too, okay? So the reason why you're not getting SS for Gryph is because you need too many dupes to maximize her. I made a whole video on this. For free to play, she's still an incredibly good unit, really good tank, good DPS, can off tank or can go in the back row and just massive DPS anyways, but she just doesn't have the same utility and same block reduction or block percentage chance or any of that extra stuff without her weapon, her arms, and her dupes, right? So still a very powerful unit for free to play, but just unfortunately not top tier for free to play. But with that being said, Chiraha just came out and I'm going to say top tier, absolutely the best support unit in the game. Shields, revivals, heals, reduction in magic, reduction in armor with basic skills. Overall, just an incredibly powerful unit. So she's currently out now. You should for sure be going for her if you're free to play. She's going to last you quite some time. So there you guys have it. That is the free to play tier list for January, up to date as much as we can. If you guys have any questions and comments, let me know. We'll be working on the whale one next. I'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to part 2 of the video. I've actually shrunk my camera a little bit so you guys don't see my bald head highlighting over everything. So welcome to the whale part. Okay, so this is going to be spenders only, 5-star to 7 stars. Again, shout out to Kingu and all those whales who actually gave me some suggestions. It's pretty clear that most of us kind of landed on the same thing, which is encouraging. That means most whales understand the game and understand what to expect from their units when they're using them. So let's go through the list and I'll give you guys some of the changes that we've made, where some of these units land, and a couple adjustments that were made on the spot here. And I'll explain why the adjustments were made the way they were. Now, keeping in mind, when you're a whale, your burn team is going to be a lot more viable. Okay, so first off, the big change here is going to be adding Rayon back to the list and putting her to top tier. When you have her on that list, she is absolutely incredible as a DPS and also gives you guys such a big boost to that. So, and not only that, but if you have burn on people, she does even more damage. So check out the video if you haven't seen Rayon being used before. I've made a video for her that when you have burn, it's like night and day difference in damage. So Rayon absolutely SS tier. The rest of them pretty much stay the same as free to play. Nothing changes there. Okay, so from S tier, again, pretty much stays the same. The only two big differences are the fact that Vivi went up to S instead of A, I believe I had her in for free to play, I think, if I recall. And then Pan has a huge boost all the way up to S for 2 reasons. Number 1, her shield gets much better. Number 2, her control immunities are a lot more powerful. Number 3, the main thing is every time you have a shield, anyone that has one instantly gets a plus 30 crit from her burr shield, which is insane. So crit rate, having that extra crit rate is massive. Okay, so you're going to definitely want to use her as a support to boost your DPS and a little bit of your survivability. So Pan gets a massive boost up there. Kiki stays at S. A lot of people could still rate her at SS, I think, as at the 7-star level because she still does some pretty insane damage. But if you look at the top tier units, she's just not quite there anymore, right? So going back to Fenruru now, Fenruru is incredible for free to play, but she drops down for pay to win. There's a lot better options than her, so she's going to stay in A. Shiyu stays in A as well too, or maybe goes up to A. I forgot which way we looked at it, but she's a great for burn team plus revival, gives you a chance to survive. So good for that for sure. Dina stays A, MC stays A, Beam stays A, Winnow stays A, Starry stays. Firentia actually goes up to A in my opinion here when you're a whale. And the reason why you get such a big difference of Firentia is that the more dupes you have of her, the more viable as a unit she becomes. As a free to play player, she's actually not very viable at all because you don't want to invest too much in her. But when you have her as a pay to win, it's a little bit different, right? So number 1, she has the ability to transfer debuffs to targets, which is great. She does pretty decent damage as well too. Not to mention she applies burn. So for your burn team, she's going to be absolutely viable because at the top level, she has a 100% chance to apply it. And then she also applies silence on the target with the burn too. So you now have more things, and not to mention applies insight to units in the same roll for 2 rounds. Insight essentially is if under control status at the end of the round, you reduce 2 rage of the enemy in the corresponding position. So she has quite a bit of utility at the top levels, so you're going to use her a lot more often. And not to mention her passive is really good as well. So when you are using her as a a pay to win character, she absolutely becomes a pretty decent powerhouse. She could even arguably be an S for some people if you're running a burn team, but right now we're going to keep her A because not everybody does run a burn team, okay? Baphomet moves up a little bit as well too because of the shields he provides. She went from C to B, and everybody else pretty much stays the same. I put Camellia up a slot as well too because the drain's actually not bad at that level. But there you guys have it. That is the whale setup for the current meta. Now, we have 2 new units we have to add here, of course. First one, Gryph. Gryph absolutely gets SSS. SSSSSSS for top tier. So you have yourself now a meta unit here as a counter unit and also a DPS. So incredibly tanky at that level. Counter way more often because of the block increase. If you add a shield to that whole mess of things, she does even more. Of course, you as a whale, you're probably going to have the arms up as well too, so you get a shield there, plus the attack bonus, plus she gets a crazy attack bonus from her organizational chart. Just a wild unit for whales to use. And currently, easily the meta unit for DPS. And then Chiraha, no doubt about it, is going to be your top SS support unit. Revival, heal, shield. She does it all. She can pretty much replace Nephthys. Well, not Nephthys, because Nephthys does the attack up, but she can pretty much replace any of your healers and shielders in this slot and just take care of all business for you. So there you guys go. That is the full tier list for whales. Remember, that is 5-star to 7-star. It's for you spenders. So if you guys disagree or have any comments, please let me know in the comment section. Again, shout out to Kingu as well as Eden for providing me their feedback on the whale ones. I don't have that access, but I love having the ability to speak to a lot of these whales. And those who played C for a long time agree this is very similar to what their tier list would look like. So that makes me happy. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.